Hi, it's Mark from Top Local. We're here with Bernie Pawlik, Pawlik Automotive in Vancouver, 22-time winners, 22 times. Best auto repair in Vancouver as voted by their customers. And we're talking GMC trucks. How you doing, Bernie?
Doing very well this morning.
So 2017 GMC Sierra, the lumbar support broke. What was going on with this vehicle?
Yeah, so the owner had been, it's a work truck. He was sitting in his vehicle, and I guess he needed to stretch out. So he pressed his legs rather hard on the floor, as he told me, and pushed his back into the seat. And there was this pop. And after that, no lumbar support.
So which part broke?
Well, there's a unit on the back of the seat inside that creates a lumbar support. It's like there's an electric motor and you can adjust it so it pushes forward and back. You know, it's a nice truck. You know, these GMCs, they have different seat supports, side bolsters, lumbar supports and things. So basically a piece inside the seat that broke.
So why would that break? Shouldn't it be engineered to handle a lot of force?
I would think so, but we're going to look at some pictures now, and you can see the quality of this part is less than stellar. I assume they have some sort of criteria that they don't expect people to really stretch into it and push into it. But in my opinion, it probably should have been built a little better than it is. But let's have a look at some pictures. So there's our 2017 GMC elevation model pickup truck. And we'll get into the seat bolster here. There is the broken piece right there. We're looking at, actually, I'll do a wider view of this piece. So this is the lumbar support, fully removed from the vehicle. Basically a long plastic pad, kind of hinged. There's a electric motor that drives it and some hooks in the end that this whole assembly is kind of hooked into the seat mechanism, and this pushes against the seat, the back of the seat cushion, depending on whether there's a cable in the back. We'll look at that. But you can see a little crack here, and we'll look at our close-up again. This is the area that's cracked here. So you can see a cable here. This cable actually loops through a hole here, and that loops through a framework on the back of the seat. So that's basically what broke. As you can see, it's not very thick plastic. It's pretty flimsy, in fact. There's the lumbar support, the new one installed. It basically, as I say, clips into the back, inside the frame of the seat here. There's the electric motor with cables and the wiring connectors. Another close-up view of where the seat, this is, again, you can see this sort of hinged piece here. Depending on which way the cable pulls, it'll pull it tighter or looser, depending on how you want to adjust your lumbar. There's our picture show.
So obviously you could just replace the part. You didn't have to replace the whole seat, which is better, but you have to take the seat out of the truck.
No, you don't actually have to take the seat out. Fortunately, they've actually made it a fairly easy repair. I mean, as far as seat repairs go, you can remove the backing of the seat. Like there's a, cloth pad or pad of sorts at the back of the seat. We remove that part, and then the lumbar support's pretty accessible inside there. So it's just a matter of unclipping things, taking it apart, and then it's fiddly to put it all back together, as a lot of seat components are, but to put it all back together, it didn't require the seat removal, which is good. I mean, as far as seat repairs, it was probably one of the simpler things you could do.
This is a crew cab pickup. I don't remember the picture.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So that would make it a little bit easier to get access to that front seat.
It would be much more difficult if it was just a two-seat pickup truck. But, actually, when I think about two-seat pickup trucks, without anything in the back, are almost non-existent anymore. It used to be like, you have your traditional pickup truck with the bench seat, and you could throw a jack in the back. There wasn't even maybe a thermos or something in the back. That was about it. But those days are long gone.
So this is the question that actually popped into my head. This truck's only 3 years old. Wasn't this a warranty item?
No, the warranty had expired. I mean, and this is a question we ask our customers, when you have a vehicle that's fairly new, isn't that covered under warranty? He said, no, it expired. So, it's a work truck. He uses it a lot. It's got a fair amount of mileage on it. And it either expired by mileage or age. I'm not sure which one, but it was beyond warranty.
So this is a unique circumstance, but is this a common issue with this part?
Well, I can say that this is the first lumbar support we've replaced in our shop, and maybe the last. I don't know. It's not necessarily a very common repair for us, but what I will say is that when we went to order the part from the GM dealer, it was readily available in quantity at their local warehouse. So that tells me that this is a part that breaks a lot, because things that don't break, they don't stock. Maybe they'd have one of them. So that's always a sure sign for us. Sometimes when we have a repair where you're not exactly sure what it is or what's happened. Yeah, we've got lots of those in stock. That means that it's a common failure problem. So the key takeaway from this one is, don't press too hard on your lumbar support, because it might break.
So GMC trucks have been quite reliable, have a reputation for being reliable, and have actually been reliable for many years. How's this 2017 model?
It's good. You know, again, it's not too old, but it uses a lot of the same engines that they've used for a while, same drivetrain components. So, you know, I say ever since around the year 2000, I've been pretty happy with GM trucks. I think overall they're well-made products. You can count on them. They're good. Things do go wrong. You know, this lumbar support, as I said, isn't the most robustly built piece, but, you know, had he not stretched hard, you know, it may well have lasted for many more years. So overall, I'd recommend a GMC truck. I think they're good.
So there you go. If you need lumbar support replacements in Vancouver, or you need service for your GMC vehicles, the guys to see are Pawlik Automotive. You can reach them at 604-327-7112 to book your appointment. You have to call and book ahead. They're always busy. Check out the website, pawlikautomotive.com, or our YouTube channel, Pawlik Auto Repair. There's hundreds of posts, videos, and blog posts, etc., on all makes and models of vehicles and repairs. If you're enjoying the podcast, leave us a review. We'd appreciate it. And thanks, Bernie.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for watching.